The Outcasts, Chapter 1, Singularity. Outside of any towns or villages, away from civilization, there's a huge mountain. Carved into the side of the mountain was the monastery of the Githari, one single path, hidden and only wide enough for one person to travel, with a sheer drop on one side, was all that existed between the entrance to the monastery and the road below. A single servant runs up the treacherous path and into the monastery. "Master, master, come outside, at the road." "What is it?" said Master. "Just come, you won't believe it." The master grabbed his cloak, slipped on his sandals, and grabbed his quarterstaff. He was the headmaster. It was late at night, just after midnight. He walked down the path ahead of the servant. It was a very narrow path. Few ever walked it, and even fewer ever found it. At the bottom of the path sat a little girl in a cloak and hood. "What's this?" said Master. "A child, Master. But that's not the best part. Pull back her hood." Master did, and was shocked. "A Githyanki? But that's impossible." "I know, Master. We thought we wiped them out, but we thought we wiped them all out. But here one is. That was years ago. How could any have survived to create this one?" Master bent down to look the child in the face. "Child, what is your name?" said Master in Gith. "Jossie. Where am I?" "The monastery of the Githari, the last of the Gith races." "Your race was wiped out years ago. So, how you came to be, I am quite unsure. How old are you?" "2," she said, and held up 2 fingers. "Where are your parents?" "I don't know. They put me to bed, and I woke up here." "Master, why would her parents bring her here, to us?" "Because we are Gith, maybe." "Where do you live?" "In the castle, with the king and princes." "King and princes? Castle? There are no kingdoms for hundreds of miles. Either you're confused, or there's some serious magic at work here. Did your king have any wicked enemies, or magic enemies?" I don't know. I just want to go home." "Are you sure you were there tonight?" "Yes, I was just there." "Well, you were either abandoned or banished. There has to be a reason for all of this. Let's get you inside before you're seen and cause a panic among the brothers. I will, of course, have to explain all of this in the morning. Climb on my back and hold on tight. The path is narrow and treacherous. To fall would mean certain death, but to stay on the path will lead to salvation, shelter, and protection." "What are you?" said Jossie. "I am the headmaster of our monastery. You can call me Master. As to what I am what's called a Githzeri, similar to your race. We Githzeri are or Zerai, I don't know how you pronounce it, a philosophical and peaceful monks. We are the enemy of the Githyanki. However, you are not like most Githyanki children. They are usually wild and unruly, and attacking without reason or provocation. Most are out of control and undisciplined. You seem very calm, even in the midst of your predicament." "I'm just scared." "You should be. Where are we going?" "This path leads to salvation, to the top of the mountain, and to my home, where it's safe from all evil. You will stay with us until we unravel your mystery." "You will help me find my family?" "We will train you, teach you until you are able to seek them on your own. We do not leave the monastery unless it's absolutely necessary. We grow our own food. Any supplies we need are brought to us. This will be your home, and you will learn how to protect it." "Who is he?" "He is called Master's servant, and until you are ready to leave, you will be called Child." The next morning, "Child, come out here," said Master. Jossie got out of bed and came into the big open room to see all of the monks standing there. "Everyone, this is Child. She is of our enemy's race, but she is not our enemy. You will treat her as one of us and help her in her training and learning. Is that clear?" "Yes, Master," said everyone in unison. "Good. Now, Child, today I will teach you how to fight. But you first must learn how to avoid being hit, to move with lightning speed." Master picked up some potatoes and threw them at her. "Ow," said Jossie. "If you don't want to be hit, then move. Quickly. Ow." Within a year, Jossie grew stronger and quicker at the age of 3. "When will I be able to search for my family?" We are your family, said Master. My real family. Once you can defeat me in combat, then you will be ready. He pinned her to the ground. But you're bigger than I am. How can I ever beat you? Every creature you will encounter outside this monastery is bigger and faster than you. How will you survive if you leave now, when you're not ready? So how can I ever win? You will grow and become faster and stronger with time and practice. Over the next 10 years, by the time she's 13, Jossie still hadn't defeated her master, but she learned how to read, write, and speak Gith, Common, Elven, and Draconic. She learned how to defend herself without a weapon, using just her hands and feet, and she learned how to fight with weapons like the quarterstaff, greatsword, and longbow. She learned about magic and how to cast spells in Draconic, the language of the dragons. Magic was no longer used in general population of the world, but there were secret pockets of society where it was still practiced. Whoever had banished her here used powerful magic, and she had best be prepared if she was to meet up with that person someday. After another year, at age 14, she was finally quick enough to beat her master. What now, master? I finally beat you. You are ready. You are no longer child, but Jossie. Meditate tonight, and your path will open before you. The path has always been there, but you were not ready until now. That night she meditated and fell asleep. She dreamed of her home, the castle. She saw her family inside, her father, mother, and brother. She had had this dream many times before, but tonight the dream would be different. In the dream, she and Jake left the castle to go outside and play. Jake was 2 years older than she. An older boy with red hair, pointy ears, and a pointy nose came out and was heading toward the gate. Where do you think you're going? Said his father, the prince. Home. This is your home. Not according to Mom. They argued until finally the boy left and the father stormed back inside. What was that about? Jossie said out loud. How should I know? I'm just sitting here just like you, said Jake. Jossie was stunned. He'd never responded to her before in the dream. I wasn't talking to you, said Jossie. Then who were you talking to? The birds? Hush. You're not even real, just part of my dream. I am too real. You're the one who's not real. This is my dream. What? What did you say? This is my dream. You are in my dream. Huh? Wait a minute. Where do you live when you're not dreaming? On a farm? But in here I'm human. When I'm awake, I'm an ogre. What about you? I'm not human either. I'm a Gith Yankee. A Yankee? What's that? Gith Yankee. I don't know how to explain it. Well, what do you look like? I'm not sure. Well, why don't you look in a mirror and find out? What's a mirror? A mirror? Are you stupid or something? You don't know what a mirror is? I've never seen one. I live far away from any city or village. What, like in a monastery or something? Yes, exactly. Where do you live? I already told you. On a farm, in a village. You do know what a farm is, don't you? No, not really. It's where we raise animals and grow crops for food. We sell what we plant, and what we don't sell, we eat. Like a garden? Yes, but way bigger. What do you do where you live? Study, practice combat. I keep my mind and body disciplined and strong. I study combat too. One day I'm going to find this castle in my real family. Me too. Could we be related in real life? Maybe. My name is Jacob, but everyone calls me Jake. My name's Jocelyn, but everyone calls me Jossie. Are there any mountains where you live? Not really. It's mostly farmland and villages. There are a few towns and villages between the cities. One city is called Eastgate, and then the old city is on the river by the sea to the west, called Westgate. Across the river is the grasslands, and beyond that the dark woods. Then in the far distance is a huge mountain. Does the mountain have a name? Yeah, it's magic something. No one ever goes there. Why? It's filled with giant lizards. They say a red flying lizard rules the mountain. It's haunted. Haunted? The haunted mountain? No. Well, giants and monsters live there, but no one's ever seen a real monster. I'm as close to a monster as they come. It's just a bunch of fairy tales. We don't have orcs, goblins, and kobolds, they say. Or we do. But I've never seen one of those either. Well, I'm leaving on a journey to find you. Really? You don't look old enough to travel by yourself. I'm 14 years old, and nearly a woman. How old are you? 16. Mom and Pa said they found me when I was only 4 years old. I'm the only ogre in the whole village. I've never met another ogre, as a matter of fact. Well, I bet you haven't. Ogres don't usually live with humans. I've never seen one either, but I've read books about them. Can you see the stars where you live? Yeah, I stare at them a lot. My room has an outside door. Sometimes I'll lay on the ground and stare up at them for hours, wondering what my family's doing. Can you explain their locations from where you're at? Sure. And so he explains everything in detail when the stars that he's looking up. Anyways, I'm coming to find you. It may take me many days. How? Do you have a horse? No, but my master is very wise. He will help me. The next morning, Jossie woke up and gathered her things. So, did you find what you were looking for? Said Master. Yes, I know the direction I must take. A city called Eastgate is nearby. The land is split by a river. On the other side is some kind of mountain. Magic mountain. Maybe. Hold on. I may have a map. These are the known regions of the world I have been. Here is the magic mountain you speak of. Here is the river. In order to get there, you have to make your way across the sea. Here is Westgate, also called the Old City. Where Eastgate is located, a battle took place against the Mind Flayers. We Gith were enslaved by them and fought for our freedom. They no longer exist. We are all that is left of the battle. Here, take this. A sword made of silver? Just in case some may have survived as you did, this is the only weapon that will kill a Mind Flayer. I'm not in need of it anymore. The sword will deal psychic damage to them. I call it the Flayer Slayer. There is writing on the blade. What does it say? Once you've reached a high level in your training, it will transform you. How will I cross the sea, Master? I will travel with you to the docks. I know the captain of the ship that brings us supplies. I will pay your passage. Thank you, Master. You're welcome, Jossie. It is time you fulfilled your destiny. Do not forget what you have been taught. I will let the captain know who you are, and that you want to learn all there is to know about sailing and navigating a ship. If you decide to go to the Magic Mountain, be careful. Jake said it had big red lizards. Jake? Oh, he was the one who spoke to me in my dream. Well, he was talking about dragons then. But I thought dragons were a myth. Some myths hide the truth. Jossie and Master traveled to the docks by horse and wagon. She said her goodbyes and boarded. During the trip, the captain taught her how to sail, tie knots, navigate, chart a map, fish, and avoid dangers of the sea. After many days, she finally arrived. In order to get to the port of the old city, the ship had to travel up the river. Jossie was now on her own on a land full of strangers and races she had never seen, but only read about. Because she was a Githyanki, she wore a cloak and hood and tried not to reveal herself. She didn't want people to fear her or mistreat her. The old city was not her destination, but it did look vaguely familiar. She believed it may have been the same city she'd seen in her dreams. Since she was already here, she decided to walk around to see if she could recognize anything or anyone, and it had a castle. You there, what's your business? Said a guard. Just passing through, sir. I'm on my way to visit relatives in a nearby village, but I've heard so much about this city, and being curious, I thought I'd have a look-see, said Jossie. I'm Edmund, captain of the guard and knight. This was quite the place at one time. It used to be in control of the Lich back in its prime. Used to be in control. A Lich controlled the city. Anyways, a Lich? What is that? There's a bookshop that sells historic lore on the other side of the city. You'll find many amazing things in there. Sandra is very knowledgeable about such things. Sounds like a good place to see. Thank you. Good day. As she entered the city, it was huge. To her left were 3 tailor shops. The first sold rich, fine clothing for the nobles. The second sold children's clothes. And the third sold worker clothes. Who needs so much clothing? To her right were more shops, including a map maker. She stepped inside. May I help you? Said a little old man with spectacles. He was very short, the top of his head at Jossie's waist. Yes, I have this old map that I would like to have updated. Let me see. This map is outdated. It was made right after the war with the Mind Flayers. For 1 gold coin, I'll add modern locales for you. If you'd like, I sell maps of Westgate. What about Magic Mountain? Do you have a map of it? Well, no one's been there in years, and there's no known maps anymore. I heard it was haunted by dragons and monsters. Those are just tall tales to scare people away. They said the Dwarf King ruled there back in the day. He's the one who brought iron and technology to our land. He ruled a mountain? Oh, there was a whole kingdom built right into the mountain. There's a lot to speak of, but if you visit Sandra's bookshop, she has books on lore and history. I see. I also sell map-making tools. If you do visit the mountain, you could map it. I'd gladly give you some of the profits I'd make from my copies I sell. Okay, Jossie bought the map-making tools and the map of the city. She walked to the other side of the city and found the bookshop. It was sandwiched between the undertaker and an abandoned shop with a blacked-out sign that looked burnt underneath. She entered the bookshop. Hello, I'm looking for information on Magic Mountain, said Jossie. Really? Said the clerk. Yes, and what is that abandoned shop next door with the blacked-out sign? That place is cursed. It's been like that for years. It belonged to a powerful vampire witch and a lich. A vampire? A vampire witch. Because of her and the lich, magic is no longer allowed in the city or the surrounding regions. To even speak of it is against the law. Because of those two, all kinds of cults and demon worship occur here. It was terrible. There was a big war between the demon lords. Against the mind flayers? Oh no, that was 28 years ago in Eastgate before it was built. This happened about 50 years ago. Okay, most of the words you just used I've never even heard before. Which words? Lich, vampire, witch, cults, demons? I have a book on such things. I'm not allowed to teach you anything that has to do with magic, but I do have a book of spells. Excuse me for my rudeness, but I noticed that your eyes have flecks of gold. Really? I've never seen myself. I grew up in a monastery. We don't have mirrors. We don't believe in any form of vanity. Either that or they didn't want you to know. Know what? Well, eyes like yours means you have an affinity for magic. It's rare these days. In the books I've read, they say it means you're magical. Some say you're a certain breed of lycanthrope, but a lycanthrope's eyes are completely gold. And there's also the legend of the Shamblins. Who are they? They reigned these lands back before the Lich took over. One night, the king, one of the princes, and the youngest prince's wife and children were all murdered by lycans. Not too long afterwards, the Lich took over. Once the Lich disappeared, the Dwarven King came and united all the races. But he banned all magic. But in between the Lich and the Dwarven King was the Black Wizard. But he disappeared. Then came the battle with the Githeri, the Githyanki, and the Mind Flayers. Most recent, we fought off someone claiming to be a Black Wizard who was in league with a Black Dragon. Then came the war between the dragons. The Red Dragon rules Magic Mountain, and the Gold Dragon defeated the Black Dragon. The Gold Dragon set the giants to keep the Red Dragon away from his domain. I guess I'll take any books you have on history. Okay, this book is called Myths and Monsters. It speaks about all the stuff I mentioned, but you can't let anyone know about the spells in the back, or they'll put you in prison. Okay, well, this give me something to read on my journey. Where are you heading? I'm looking for my long-lost brother. We were separated when I was 2. He lives in a village between here and Eastgate. Are you traveling by horse? No, I just arrived by ship. I guess I'll be walking. Have you ever heard of the Robe of Useful Things? Can't say that I have. Why? I think you might find it useful. I suggest you stay in the city a day or two to gather supplies. I can get you a horse, but it may take me a day or so. There's an inn across the street. Ask for Mr. or Mrs. Marcus. If you don't have a healing kit, you'll need one, or just some healing potions. Oh, no, this is long. Okay, we're almost done. There are many dangers outside the city, like bandits, orcs, goblins, and wild beasts. I got weapons, a quarterstaff and a longbow with 20 arrows and a quiver, and my prized possession, my master's flayer slayer. He said he used it to kill mind flayers. I'll tell you what, my name is Sandra, by the way, Jossie. Well, Jossie, go and buy 40 more arrows, but no quivers. Bring them to me, and I'll give you some items to help you on your journey. You'll have to leave your bow and arrows and quiver here with me. What have you got up your sleeve? I have many magical items that can help you. I thought magic was against the law. I have them stored next door. This store is connected to it. What will I use in the meantime? Your sword? Here's a bag. It's a small one. The large ones are next door. What's so special about this bag? Look inside. It's dark. She put her hand in, and she eventually put her whole arm in. How? She did it again. It's only 12 inches long. How can I put my whole arm and not touch the bottom? It's a magic bag. Set it down and step in it. She did, and fell inside the 10-foot by 10-foot cube of space, which would be 3 10-foots. But help! How do I get out? She popped out of the bag. Just say out, and you'll come out. You can store lots of items inside. I have a bigger one next door. On the outside, it's a large sack, the size of a Santa Claus sack. But the inside is the size of a huge house. It's 40 by 40 by 40 feet. So come back in 2 days, but I need those other arrows. Okay, be right back. Jossie left the shop and went down to the corner where the armory was located. Hello, said a short-bearded man, a fat-bellied man. I'm looking to buy 40 arrows. What about a quiver or two? No, just the arrows. Okay, that'll be 2 gold coins. Jossie returned to the bookshop. Here are the 40 arrows. Sarah pulls out a wand and lays all 60 arrows on the counter and says, adamantium. And then she says, unbreakable. The tips were shiny as chrome and the wood became dark and hard. Now, your arrows will pierce even dragon scale, and they'll never break. You could tie a rope to them and scale a cliff with these babies. Thanks, but why are you helping me? Let's just say you have a destiny to fulfill. I can't tell you more because if I'm wrong, I'll be sending you to your death. Oh. Jossie left and went to the inn and paid for a room. She locked up her weapons inside and headed for the castle. Was this her home? She went inside. It was filled with people milling about. Above the entrance hung a sign that read, City Council. Excuse me, is the king here? King? My dear, there are no kings in this city. We are a self-governing city, a democracy. The only kings were the elves in the dark woods. And of course there was the dwarf queen king on Magic Mountain years ago. Since then, most of the races have united. There are no more kings. Oh, and I can see you are a Gith. A monk? Yes, from the monastery of the Gisari. Well, you're welcome to our city. If you need anything while you're here, just let me know. If I'm not available, just let someone know you'd like to speak with Randolph. Okay, thanks. Everyone's so nice here. Jossie left and went back to the inn. She stopped by the market and bought some fresh vegetables to eat raw. That night she dreamed of the castle and her family. Jake, I'm almost there. I'm in the old city. Really? In that case, I'll clean up our old storage room for you. It has a bed. You'll have a place to stay, but Paul will expect you to work. No problem. Thank you. 2 days from now, I'll be leaving the city. I just have to get supplies first. Good. There's a small village with lots of farmland. It should take you about a day or so. I'll meet you in the village. I'll be easy to spot since I'm the only ogre in overalls. Ha! Good. I'll see you then. The next morning, someone knocked on her door. Hello? If you like, every morning we offer free breakfast. Why, yes. I'll be there shortly. Good. I'm Mrs. Marcus. My husband and I own this establishment. I'll see you there. Jossie got up and dressed. She made her way to the dining area. It was really just a cantina with some tables. They brought her eggs, ham, bread, gravy, water, and milk. Then she went back to her room to study her new book. Let's see. Lich. Ah, here we are. Liches. Liches are the remains of great wizards who embrace undeath as a means of preserving themselves. Ugh. They further their own power at any cost, have no interest in the affairs of the living except where those affairs interfere with their own. Scheming and insane, they hunger for long-forgotten knowledge and the most terrible secrets. Because the shadow of death doesn't hang over them, they can conceive plans that take years, decades, or centuries to come to fruition. A lich is a gaunt and skeletal humanoid with withered skin stretched tight across its bones. Its eyes succumbed to decay long ago, but points of light burn in its empty sockets. It's often garbed in the moldering remains of fine clothing and jewelry worn and dulled by the passage of time. No wizard takes up the path to lichdom on a whim. The process is a well-guarded secret. He must make bargains with fiends, evil gods, or other foul entities. A lich is created by an arcane ritual that traps the wizard's soul within a phylactery. Doing so binds the soul to the mortal world, preventing it from traveling to the outer planes after death. Outer planes? Phylactery? What is a phylactery? Let's see here. Oh, okay. A phylactery. A phylactery is an amulet. Okay, like a necklace or something. A lich will be stirred when a great event reminds him of the life he once had. He will collect spells and magic items. He will have access to potions, scrolls, libraries of spellbooks, wands, staff, and rods, and will use them all against any intruders. Do not go up against one without the aid of a powerful friend or friends of substantiary high levels of wizardry or sorcery. Ninth level spells can only be used on an 18th level or higher magician. Written by J.E.S. If a lich had control of this kingdom, does that mean my family was killed? Is that why they are not here? I wonder when the lich had control. Let's see. Vampire. Vampires are undead. They don't reflect an image in a mirror. I think I might need to buy a mirror. They must sleep in a coffin during sunlight hours or be disintegrated. They can only move about during the day if they are fully covered with a hood, gloves, face mask, and dark eyewear. They must feed on living blood. They can regenerate, walk on walls or ceilings, and can shape change into a bat or mist. They are vulnerable to holy water, holy symbols, or a stake through the heart until it's removed. They cannot enter a residence without being invited in. Running water will burn them like acid. They have superhuman strength, fangs, and claws. They can charm victims, call for aid from bats, rats, and wolves. They have super speed and are resistant to piercing, slashing, or bashing. Some merge with lichens and can change into a wolf. Very dangerous. Written by J.E.S. Wow, this J.E.S. fellow is very knowledgeable. She put the book down and fell asleep. Okay.